Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Marilyn Shannon, and this is the Breaking Free Show. Today we're going to be hanging out. So I'm really happy you're here. I want to say hi to Amnon, who is our ever loving producer.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a great weekend.
You did?
Yeah, it was getting a little bit warm, but it was
Yeah.
still nice. We spent time outside and
Yeah, you
worked
have a
on.
nice outside. I mean, the birds welcome me. I mean, it's like you have a, what do you call that? A pond, a little flowers in
Yeah,
there, and
I mean
it's
it's
always, it
just
sounds, yeah, it's like a little
it's nice. I mean,
oasis.
yeah, like in a little oasis. And I mean it was planned to be like that, and
Yeah,
we like it
it
outside.
works.
But it was kind of on the warm side,
Yeah, it was warm.
but it was fine.
Yeah,
It
but
was
the
fine.
nights were a little cooler.
Yep.
Nice nights.
Yeah, Kathy
Nice.
said that Saturday night when Donna left, like around 12 o'clock, she came out with her. She said, I wanted to stay out there. It was
It was
so
so
nice.
nice. Yeah,
Well,
there's like a little shift in the air.
yep.
So, hi everyone, welcome. So, listen, you can join in the show anytime you want today. Of course, anytime, but in particular today at 919-518-9773, or you can come in on Skype, computers, that's plural 2K voice, the number 2K voice. We have a chat room. You can come in there and talk to us, ask questions, comment. And we've had some amazing shows. We have, and it's been a long time since I've been on just me and Amnon and you. And so today is going to be that day. It's kind of like catch up day. We haven't been just you and I and Amnon together in a long time. And we wanted to do that today. So today is like an anything goes day. We want you to call in, chat, ask questions, comment, tell us about your week, whatever it is, and whatever. There's some things I want to talk to you about, but whatever pops into my mind in the moment, I'm going to say. Or, if something pops into your mind or you want to talk about something, please feel free to take this opportunity and invitation to join us. And can you show the first slide?
I can. I was
Okay.
just wondering.
Yes, perfect. So I don't like to think before I speak. That's me. I like to be just as surprised as everyone else about what comes out of my mouth. That is definitely me. So if you have never watched us before, that's me. If you've watched us before, you know that's me. So I don't plan because why should I? And why should anybody always plan everything that's come out of your mouth? I trust that whatever comes out is meant to come out. And if it doesn't come out right, I can fix it. I can always say, oops, excuse me, that is not exactly how I wanted that to sound or be or whatever, and move on. I mean, what's the worst that'll happen, right? So, but it's important that we naturally have have an opportunity to speak. That's why today I just said, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just hang out, talk and share and just, whatever comes up is perfect. And so you put the next one up. So I always believe you have to speak up, and I do. I really believe that this is our opportunity to have a voice. That's why I do the work I do, whether it's the show, whether it's coaching, whether it's my books that you can find on Amazon in just one afternoon listening to the hard. We grow, we connect, we understand each other. We know that we're not alone when we speak up. We make a difference to whomever has the opportunity to hear us. And so it's important. And so I want everybody to speak up. I want to give a voice to everybody I possibly can. So take that as an invitation today. So there's some things I want to talk about, but again, call in 919-518-9773 or computers 2K voice on Skype. And of course, you can join us in the chat as always. So Amnon does a show every Sunday, right?
Yeah,
And you've been doing it
every
for how
Sunday
long?
since 93.
93. That's a long time, right? That's if I count right, it's
That's
24
20,
24 years, right?
93. Yeah.
24 years. So
Now that's not on the internet. There was no internet back then.
right. But it was always computers.
It was computers. It was on the radio.
So computers about hardware, software,
Yep.
the industry, all of those things, right? So and now of course you do a show just like me with a picture. So what's happening? And I think it's a really interesting because I have asked Amnon before we went live, like what's happening now?
There's really not much happening.
Why is that?
It's kind of, I have no idea. I mean, it's like somebody is waiting for something. It's you get to a point where, all right, we went through the Windows 10 stuff, and now it leveled off, and there is nothing. I mean, when you say what's happening, it's something that will get the attention of everybody that they will be talking about.
Like what would that be? Like okay, Windows 10, but what would it be that everybody would be talking
if it's
about?
a new piece of hardware that everybody wants to have, it
Like
kind
a new computer from Microsoft that
well,
would be interesting, or
it's yeah, but it's
Okay.
not. But it's not interesting. I mean, they have the Surface,
but it's not interesting.
But it's people are not going for it.
Why is that?
They're not interested. That's what I'm saying. It's
So are people not interested in what? So people make news.
people take the news, and if they talk about it, then it becomes
Important.
important, and everybody talks
Okay,
about
so
it.
this is an interesting. This is
it's-
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's things happening, and people are not but it's not like people are not making it juicy enough, or there's nothing happening. There's two different
it's
thoughts.
like people are ignoring it, like it's oh, we're not interested in that. That's not important. We are more interested in what's happening with the economy. We are more interested in going to eat outside. I don't know. But it's getting really kind of tough to come up with things that will grab the attention of
Interesting.
even my audience, which is mainly technical, and to talk about. So
Interesting.
it's
So is there news that you could make newsy, or there's no news anyway?
no. I mean, the biggest thing that people are talking about now is cord cutting,
What is that?
which means don't use cable TV anymore. Cut the cord and use the internet as your
provider.
for and more networks are on the internet, so you don't pay the providers like Comcast and Time Warner and Spectrum, whatever.
That's cable.
The,
So
the
they're
cable
doing
company.
over the air, like
The-
just
yeah,
your regular ABC,
well, there is
CBS,
no,
or
everybody's doing over the air, the networks.
right?
And that was another story this week that we read.
This is
that,
interesting.
That some 28-year-old computer science student made a big deal about the fact that he found a way to get free TV.
Uh,
And he went on about it, and he discovered that you can hook an antenna to the TV and watch TV.
I know. I'm
He
not
said,
told me that. I
wow,
had to
you
crack
know.
up.
Well,
History repeating itself.
sort of, yeah.
Right. So, okay, but it's very interesting to talk about what we're talking about cutting the cord, and also about where people are emotionally, financially, and what matters to them as far as technology or the news. And you know, because we've got our sights on other things. But this idea of cutting the cord and going with, let's say, Netflix only, or Sling, is that Sling? Is that
Sling is one of them, yeah.
One of them. I hear a lot about Sling.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even watch regular TV anymore. We watch Netflix, and I'll tell you what, there's some
That's the
great
thing.
shows. Oh my God,
Absolutely.
there's some great shows on Netflix. I mean, so if you've got any really good suggestions for me, please, you can go to Marilyn Shannon on Facebook and tell me I am watching this on Netflix and I really like it, or write me Marilyn at MarilynShannon.com and tell me, because I'm really into these series. They're brilliant.
Now, you want to know what's the latest news?
Yeah.
Time Warner is down.
So we're not broadcasting.
Oh,
yet?
yeah, we are, because there is Uverse, and that's where it's going out. But if anybody was on Facebook,
Oh, we're down there.
it's down.
All right. Well, anyway,
You see, that's the kind of news.
so that's in the moment news.
Yeah.
So remember, today is our day. It's our day just to hang out together. We have no special guests coming. You're all a guest. And it's a fun day. We just hang out, just share whatever's coming to your mind, whatever's happening in your life. The sky is the limit. So please call in at 919-518-9773 or come in on Skype at computers, that's plural, the number 2K voice, and you'll come in on Skype where you can certainly join us in our chat. And you can ask questions and comment and all that kind of good stuff. We'd love to have you talk to us about anything that's on your mind. Okay, so cutting the cord, anything else?
No, that's what mainly that's what people talk about.
That's
these
mainly
days.
the news.
Yeah.
So no.
I mean,
new
there's a
tech-
lot going on about it. A
about
lot of
the cutting
chatter
the
and
cord.
talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting, and I don't want to give money away to some entity that I
Absolutely
don't have
not.
to give money to.
You're working hard for your money,
I'm working hard for my money, and I
and
like it,
they are charging
and they're charging.
way more than what
What
they
are
should.
they charging these days? I have no idea.
You can go as high as $150 a month if you have the pay stations. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
So does Sling have their own shows too, just
No,
like Netflix?
Sling is just taking. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. I don't know that much about Sling.
Okay.
I know it works,
Right.
and it's just something that you take. Sling is you take it out of your service, and you can watch it somewhere else.
Okay. All right, good. All right, so we're going to move on to the next slide that I put especially for you, my friends. So here you go. I wish my life had background music so I could understand what the hell is going on. And let me tell you what, I think, obviously, because I'm a listening freak, that listening to what is the background music of what is going on, you will know what is going on, because that is where the messages lie, in that background music. So listen hard, and I'll tell you something interesting about me. I've been looking for words to describe myself lately, and I couldn't come up with the words. And then I realized, well, it's not about me. It's about what is done through me, but not exactly about me. So I came up with 3 words that I'm going to be using, and it's listen with me. And I really believe strongly that we are listening together. And that is why I keep saying to you, please call in. Because what are you hearing out here? What are you observing? What are you listening to? What is your life telling you? I'd love you to share it with me, because I'm doing that with you. I'm coming here and I'm saying, oh, this just happened, or this is what I'm noticing. And I want to share it with you, and I want you to do the same, because together we can pull our resources and learn a great deal about what's happening.
There were, since this computer, this laptop was using Time Warner, I didn't see all the chat that was going on, and you're not going to see it because you are connected to that. I connected to this machine.
Oh, so
here.
what's happening on the chat?
So here
Who's
is Chris is saying, do you think some people's lack of interest has to do with credible and trustworthy news sources and anchor people such as Walter Cronkite? What did Cronkite have that are current? That I don't think that's what it is. I think that, I mean, we're getting to a complete different
No, but it's an interesting
thing here. Yeah, I mean,
question.
people are getting
Right.
tired of all these made up stories in the news, and they keep hearing about the fake news, and they see that it's so they are not paying attention to the news. We're talking about tech news,
Which is different.
which is different. Yeah, I mean, if people went to the internet for their news, to credible sites that actually, then none of this that's what's happening on TV news would have happened. But over here, it's all, when cutting the cord, it's all about money, is to save money.
Yeah, but there is an underlying kind of message in cutting the cord, and that could mean also cutting the cord from the your news source and going to the internet and kind of connecting the dots yourself.
You-
It's not relying on or letting certain sources or resources or whatever you want to call it control what you do, what you know, and who you are.
So,
It's- go
so
ahead.
Hank is saying,
Yeah.
if the cable providers actually offered a la carte, they would be more attractive. Absolutely. Now you have to pay $70, $80, and you get all these channels. And I really thought that we had over 1,000 channels. Because it's everywhere you go. When I was talking with Time Warner to try to lower the price, and I said, well, let's see, can we lower the internet package? She said, you have the lowest. I said, what do you mean? She said, you only have 200. I said, 200? What about all the other stuff left and right of it? She said, a lot of them are duplicates and a lot of them don't cost, but you're paying for 200. I said, oh, great. So when you cut the cord, you completely, there is no, I'm cutting away from the
It's
news.
all black and white.
It's you
Just
cutting.
all or nothing.
You cut the cord from the back of the
That's
TV.
not easy to do.
That's it. Well, it is easy to do,
Well,
and you find out that, oh, yeah, I was not watching this, and I was not watching it. I don't care about this. And the stuff that I really care about is there. And then you can listen to that 28-year-old with the rabbit ears, or you can actually get, there are people
Right.
in our area that have an external antenna on the roof,
Right, right.
digital, with a rotor, which don't cost much, cost about $20, $25.
Right.
And you can get upwards of 40 channels
Right.
over the air. So when you do that, in order to see all your local stuff, because, yeah, you can go to Channel 5 to WRL.com, but you don't actually see,
Well, it's up
you
to
only
you.
see whatever they
Right.
show you.
And it's going to be up to people to really listen and read between the lines. And that brings me to the next piece that I want to talk about. But I really think cutting the cord can mean cutting the cord to your TV, cutting the cord, cutting to this. But it also means relying on yourself, reading this, reading that, and making your own mind up, making your own judgments up without listening to what somebody's telling you to do. And I think that follows suit with a lot of things that are going on. Do you not think so?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Are there any other questions? So this is
so
what happened.
Hank
Our
is-
Time Warner was down, but we have other resources.
Yes,
And
so
I'm
Hank
not
is
looking-
saying
yeah.
they only want to sell bundles. They don't give you what you want. You
Choices.
can't go and say, I really just want to have Fox News. I really just want to have HBO. No, you have to buy
Everything.
a whole bundle. And it's hard to argue with them also about the phone. I don't want a phone. Don't charge me $30, $40 for a phone when I can get voice over IP if I have internet for about $6 a month.
Yeah, there's a lot of
So,
stuff going on, isn't there?
There's a lot of
big
stuff.
shake
People
up.
just, no, it's been going.
But it's good. People are putting down. They're saying, "No, I don't want this. I have
Right.
choices."
But they make it hard for you not to
Well,
do it.
Well, look, Sling is created by a person somewhere. Somebody somewhere said, "Oh, let's start something like a Netflix." I mean, people are doing these things and they're answering
Absolutely.
the problem solving. They're taking care of the problem solving.
Millennials, that's what they do. Netflix. I mean, they grew up with Netflix. Like this guy, he never knew. I mean, 28 years old, he never knew that there was such a thing as an antenna.
It blows your mind, huh?
And he said, "Oh, I discovered the rabbit ears. You can get 6
Well,
stations
would you
here."
have told them
So-
that you could do that? Have you been talking about that on your show?
No,
Why?
because you don't. Because it's what we grew up with.
I know,
so
but are
don't,
you using rabbit ears now?
No,
Are
I
you
mean
so-
we're still on cable. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so there's a whole new. I mean, history is. I mean, come on, there's no great new ideas. And Hank, if this is Hank, hi Hank, nice to know you're here. In the old days, and I don't know if it's still the same way, but I used to, when I was buying television time for my business, I used to have a furniture store, and I would buy cable. I could buy certain networks that I could buy. I didn't have to buy all the networks they had. I could buy certain networks, and my commercials would only appear on those specific networks. So I don't know if, things have changed, but I do know that, that's how it used to be. So anyway, there's all kinds of good things to talk about because everything's related when you think about it. I mean, everything is related. I mean, what's happening in one area can be something similar to what's happening in another area, and it's all related. And I was telling Amnon when the show was getting started that I really got into audiobooks, and it's fascinating because I want to read and I haven't been reading because I don't have all that much time to sit with a book and read, or sit with my Kindle or my thises or my that's. So somebody said, Marilyn, read an audiobook. Well, how do you read an audiobook? It, to me, it's not reading, it's listening. Well, anyway, I started and I love it. I love it. It's like being in my own world. So here again, and you really have to listen. And since I'm practicing always my listening, it's really taking my listening to another level, and it's fascinating. So I'm having to listen and concentrate. I can't do anything else, and I'm a multitasker. I mean, I'm somebody who, if I'm on the phone, please pardon me, but sometimes I'm on the phone and I'm also on Facebook, or I'm, checking my messages, or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. So I really am really appreciating it. And I was telling Amnon too, it's really great because I can get in the car and do it, but I can't do other things and listen to my book. I don't know. I can do it in the car. I'm not sure. Hasn't come to me. But again, if you've got some great books that you want to suggest, and I could look for them on an audiobook, or if you have listened to one on an audiobook and you want to recommend it to me, please let me know. You can write to Marilyn, Marilyn, at MarilynShannon.com, or find me on Facebook at Marilyn Lipman Shannon, or Marilyn Shannon on Facebook, and leave me a comment and say, Marilyn, this is a great book. I think you should listen to it, because I really want to. And I also want to listen to the classics, because I have to be honest, I'm not sure if I ever really read them. So anything else on that chat before I go on to the next?
No, I mean, Hank is adding that the ISPs have a hard time being seen as only an internet provider. They make more money. Oh, shoot, I forgot to pot up my. He says the ISP have a hard time being seen as only an internet provider. They make more money on TV programming, so they are going to wither away if they keep fighting it, because people are just not paying for TV. These guys have to pay for the TV. So what are they going to do? And Chris is saying, I love audiobooks, and Stephen King's Green Mile was fabulous.
Oh, okay. So Green Mile.
The
okay,
Green
I'm
Mile.
writing it down, Chris. Okay. But I'm really like addicted to them. I love them. It's like being in my own little drama. So that's why we have places like Instagram and Facebook. They are going to reap the reward of people wanting to market themselves in a new way. And it's, marketing and advertising is certainly taking a big shift. It's becoming what we know as public relations. It is indirect marketing, indirect advertising, but it is really more, on the relationship side. So we're going to find more and more things going on, with more and more products and branding and things going on. And, it's interesting. I used to work at a TV station a long time ago, and we had a brilliant news director. I mean, he was crazy, but the man was brilliant. And I will say that every day of the week. And he was so intelligent. And, he used to say that advertising was definitely going to change, and you were going to be turning on the TV and you would see like a bottle of Coke, or you would see the brand of cereal sitting there, or the anchors would, be doing something, or, it'd be like that. And that's how it's going to be. I mean, that's going to be worth a lot of money to advertisers when they can't advertise in a show, and it's getting so expensive. I mean, I can't even imagine them being able to do it. Right? I mean, news. I mean, it's so expensive. Okay, so, and again, you are all welcome to call in. I can keep on going, but I sure would love to hear from you. So please feel free to call in. Is there any other comments on there, or anything else to pay attention to?
Not yet.
Okay, so I have been observing Steve Harvey. Okay, I find Steve Harvey fascinating.
Fascinating.
Do you find him
He's
fascinating?
great.
What do you like about him?
His
His
attitude,
attitude.
I mean, he's very animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, like, I watch him, and I watch him on the little big shots with the kids, and he really seems to really connect with them. And he seems to really, I mean, I've watched his eyes tear up. I mean, I don't know if he's acting, but it seems pretty authentic. I
Yeah.
watched him on, what's the other show he does?
He does Family
Family
Feud.
Feud.
He does his own show, the
Yeah,
Steve
yeah,
Harvey
yeah.
show.
Steve Harvey show, and he does Family Feud,
Yeah.
right? And I watched him on there, and he'll say to the families exactly what I would say
Yeah.
sometimes, and
Oh, yeah.
making a joke or being shocked by their answers. He seems to be just like there, and I know he didn't always have fame or fortune that he has now, but the guy is funny, and he seems to be authentic. So I decided to write a blog about him
Okay.
because I really,
A
again, I
blog
like,
entry.
yeah, for my blog
Yeah.
on MarilynShannon.com. Anyway, so I started doing a little research, and I found that recently he wrote a letter to his staff, almost seething. And I read the letter, and my first instinct, which was my instinct and what I was reading, how they were criticizing him for his letter, I just was like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody would write this letter. And then I took a step back and I listened to myself. And I listened between the lines of this letter. And I've brought the letter. I'm not going to show it to you in a second.
Oh.
And I want to read it to you. I want us to look at it and go, what is it that we can learn from this letter? Because I think it's not, everything is not always what it appears. Just like we said about listening to the music going on in the background, I want you to listen to the letter and what you see in the background of this letter. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I'd like you all to review and adhere to the following notes and rules for season 8 of my talk show. There will be no meetings in my dressing room, no stopping by or popping in, no one. Do not come to my dressing room unless invited. Do not open my dressing room door. If you open my door, expect to be removed. My security team will stop everyone from standing at my door who have the intent to see or speak to me. I want all the ambushing to stop now. That includes TV staff. You must schedule an appointment. I have been taken advantage of by my lenient policy in the past. This ends now, no more. Do not approach me while I'm in the makeup chair unless I ask to speak with you directly. Either knock or use the doorbell. And here it is. I'm seeking more free time for me throughout the day. Do not wait in any hallway to speak to me. I hate being ambushed. Please make an appointment. I promise you I will not entertain you in the hallway, and do not attempt to walk with me. If you're reading this, yes, I mean you. Everyone, do not take offense to the new way of doing business. It is for the good of my personal life and enjoyment. So my point is, after reading that, I'm like, wow, he's just asking for what he needs. And I think, and I know that sometimes when we ask, it comes out abrupt because we don't feel good enough to ask. We don't feel worthy enough to ask. And asking is a very important thing that we practice doing. Ask for things. Ask. Share. This is hard for me, but I need to ask. Obviously, he's been a free-for-all. No matter where he is, no matter what time of day, no matter what. People have been talking to him and have gotten the impression that it was okay. But I think him asking for his time, asking for space, I think is a really important thing. And the more we can practice that, the better our lives will be. I'm going to do an event here with some friends about asking. And because there's so many things we don't ask for. We don't ask for more money. We don't ask for the time. And I don't always think that it has to be in the form of a question either. Like, can you do this? I think sometimes it's just from your insides, and it doesn't have to come in the form of a question, but it is something that you ask yourself, and you just let it out. So practice asking for what you want and see what happens. But I know you have to ask your body, is it, like this week, and I really had to check in with myself. I mean, am I ready to do this? I mean, am I tired? I had to ask myself, is this what tired feels like? Ask yourself, is this something you want to eat? I mean, empower yourself to ask. And that's what he did. And I think it was a really good thing. So yay, yay, yay for Steve Harvey. So anyway, all right, 919 518 9773.
It won't work
Why?
because it's on the Time Warner.
Oh.
The phone is on the. It's going to take a lot of work to
Okay, so
switch
what
it.
will work?
No, the chat will work.
Okay, so the chat, what about the computer, the Skype?
No, Skype will not.
Okay,
That's what
so
I'm saying.
listen, this is funny because you never know what you're going to get in life. Here I am doing the show live, and oh, that won't work. Oh no, that won't work. It just happens. Things happen, and we just have to be okay, I guess, with just rolling with the punches because you never know, right? You just never know. So bear with me. All right, so you can't call in anymore, and for now, because Time Warner is down,
Yep.
and you can't come in on our Skype, but you can chat with us in the chat. So take advantage of it. Come in there and just, what do you want to talk about? It could be anything. Is there anything in there now?
Nope.
Okay. Is anybody in there?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. But they're not asking any questions,
They're not
right?
asking
Okay.
questions.
So you put up the next slide. All right.
I'll put on the next slide.
Put on the next slide. Here we go.
Okay.
It's coming.
Is that it?
No.
Do not
That was the
approach-
second
that's
one.
the
Yeah, that's
second-
the second one.
second
Put up the
page.
second. Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Just because my path is different doesn't mean I'm lost.
That's right.
Right? Just because my path might be different than yours, or yours is different than so and so's, it doesn't mean you're on the wrong path or that you are lost. And I really, lately, for some reason, this thought has come up quite a bit. Because I'll say to people sometimes, well, look, I mean, remember, the light bulb, the telephone, the cell phone, the TV, Apple. Think about all these things that one day somebody had the idea to do something when somebody else didn't and thought it could never work. I remember a friend of mine, when I had probably the oldest, well, I didn't have the oldest, but looking back now, it's probably the oldest. When I first had my cell phone in my car, it weighed 10 pounds. I mean, because it was in the car.
Yeah.
And it had a cord. You remember those? And it had a cord. And it was, in order to drive and talk, you had to go, it was like so heavy. It was nothing like this. And I can remember a friend of mine was selling cell phones. Because that's what you did then. It was a person. You didn't go to Verizon or Apple and get a phone. You got it from a person that was selling phones. And I remember she was, asking me, do I think that was a good job? Because she was about to get the job. And I said, well, doesn't everybody have a cell phone? I thought everybody had a phone in the car at that point. That's how much I knew. And of course, they didn't. And so she started selling to friends and all this stuff. But that's how it started. But, a different path. So check in with yourself. No matter where somebody else is, just look to see where you are. You are looking out of your life, out of your eyes. Somebody else is looking out of their eyes through their life. So where they've been, who they are, what they've learned, who's come in contact with them, all has bearing on what they're going to see. Their baggage is going to affect what they see in the world. And your baggage is going to affect what you see in the world. So check in with yourself and don't automatically assume that because nobody else in the room thinks your way or is feeling your way or doing it your way, that it's wrong. Because it's not. And the more people that try something different, the better it is. And I like to call the thing, I have a thing where I say toot your toots and toot your oops. And what I mean by that is toot your horn. Share your wins with the world, with your community, with your circle, with your friends, with your family. I mean, toot it. Let us all toot. Let us all be comfortable with sharing our successes. That's really important. And the more we do, the more people that will want to be successful and will try and look for success. But at the same time, it's okay to toot your oops, lessons learned, because the more we do that, the more we will try something new and not be afraid of making a mistake or looking funny or whatever we can make up about it. So go ahead and today and going forward, toot as much as you can toot. Keep on tooting and toot those lessons learned because they're not failures. I mean, how would you know if you didn't give it a try? So give it a whirl. Okay, anybody in there? Okay. So if you're listening, or not if you are, but while you're listening, do me a favor and go to the chat. And if you want to ask a question, because we can't do it on Skype as we usually do, or on the phone, go in there and, just comment, look around, ask questions. We'd love to have you. And we'd love for you to share anything that you want to do today, because this is our kind of hanging out kind of day and talking about whatever we want to talk about. Like, I don't care if you call and you say, God, I ate this new food and it was great. So do that. Let's have some fun with each other.
If Hank wants to, I mean, he says,
What
he
does
said,
say?
I do not have to. No, Hank, if you want to call, let me know in the chat.
Oh yeah, you love Hank. You would love Hank. Hank's my friend who's helping me with my website. So you need to know Hank. I think it's Hank. Hank, is that you, Hank? Yeah, that's Hank. He's a good guy. Okay, so next slide. Friendship is born at the moment when one person says to another, "What, you too? I thought that no one but myself." C.S. Lewis. And doesn't that say it all? That's why it's so important for us to share our stories. I have to tell you, yesterday I had an event in a gallery. It was a really lovely gallery in Pittsburgh, and I was doing a book event. But I don't like to do just come see Marilyn Shannon or book signing. I just don't like to do that at all. I like to have some kind of event, that has meaning. Because who cares about me? I haven't written 10 books yet. I'm not Oprah. I'm just me. So we did this event. It was about coming and sharing your story, and these events have been doing really well because people really do want to share their stories, and I encourage people to do that. So this really lovely lady came out yesterday, and she drove all the way from Raleigh to this event, and she was the only one that showed up. It was a very slow day in this store yesterday, slower than usual, and I don't know, maybe it was meant that it was just for she and I to share. And I didn't get discouraged, even though, of course, it cost me money to be there and time and all that kind of good stuff. But I went anyway, and she was there, and it worked out perfectly. And she shared with me her story, and I was blown away by what she was telling me. And so I say share any chance you can. Share what happened to you today. Share what happened to you yesterday. Is that Hank? All right, let's see.
Hank, is that you? Hank? Hello?
Hello.
Is this Hank? Oh, no. Wait a second, let's see. Hank, is that you? Hank? No, it's not. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay. Today is an interesting day in the neighborhood, ain't it?
Yeah.
Are other things going wrong? Technology wise?
I was trying something I never tried.
What was that?
To connect my business line.
Oh, it wouldn't work?
No.
So can you connect him in another way? Or it won't work?
That's what I was trying.
And it won't work. Okay. Does he know it won't work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's listening to you.
Okay. All right. Well, Hank, so there's no other way for him to call in, right?
No.
Okay. So you'll have to come again another time. When this is the first time this has ever happened that I know of.
Yeah.
Have you ever had this happen? Not, I don't remember this.
Not like no,
Not like
that.
this. And we're talking about technology, and look what happens. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy that we've never had that. And here we are talking about technology. Okay. So we connect in our stories. We realize we're not so wrong. We realize other people have had similar issues. That's, I'm going to take this moment to say, I'm writing a series of books. And my first book is In Just One Afternoon, Listening into the Hearts of Men. And I interviewed 22 men, and the next one is twins, and then millennials, and families that have lost children, and divorcees, and black fathers, and artists. And I mean, I have several that I'm working on at one time, and a great deal of the reason that I'm writing these books is so that people can see themselves, and they can go, wow. A man can go, wow, if that man can experience life or express himself that way, where he can do that, well, then maybe I can do it too. Same reason I do this show. That is the same reason we started doing the Breaking Free show. And that is what Breaking Free is all about. That if we can show somebody doing something, saying something, being a certain way, creating something, that people in our audience, our listeners, our watchers, our friends will say, maybe I can do that too. Or I've been thinking of that. Maybe I can try that. Or maybe I can give it a whirl. Maybe I can reach out and talk to that person. That's why we do it. So it's all about these great stories and how we can connect. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a very dear friend of mine come and talk about social media. And she was talking about relationships. And that's what it's all about. All about social media is all about the relationships that we build. And the way we build relationships in connecting in a lot of ways is sharing our stories, sharing our toots and sharing our oops. And so I highly recommend it. And I, for one, if you watch me on a regular basis, I have no problem. Sharing my lessons learned, my oops. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm not, we're all perfect in that and not perfect. So, right? I'm none. You there?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anybody?
Hank, try and call the right number now, the 919-518-9773. It should work. But let's see.
Are we back on?
No, I'm
you're
doing
experimenting.
it. Yeah. 919-518-9773.
This is what I love so much about doing the show with this show here. Because Amnon is so good with all this. I could just do the show and he could take care of all the rest, which is great. Is he still there? Okay, I am keeping going. He's there, okay. Right?
Chris has a question.
Okay.
Says, what do you think about this quote? Technology can be our best friend, and technology can also be the biggest party pooper of our lives. It interrupts our own story, interrupts our ability to have a thought or a daydream, to imagine something wonderful. No, you can still imagine without technology, because we're too busy bridging the walk from the cafeteria back to the office on the cell phone. And that's by Steven Spielberg. What do you know?
Oh, I'll come back to that.
Now let's see now.
Is that him?
I'm assuming.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Oh. Press the wrong button. Try it again. Sorry.
Oh. Oh, yoy. I'm going to return you.
No, it was working. I hung up on you instead of picking up. Hank, sorry. My mind is right now it's multitasking in a big way. So keep going.
Okay. Forgot what, there we go. Okay. Hello.
Now it works.
Oh, yay! Welcome to the crazy show.
It's Monday.
Well, it's really interesting too, because this is your first time listening to us.
I've caught a couple minutes here and there in previous shows, but this is the first time I've listened for a longer period of time.
But we've never had this happen, and it's crazy because this is the day that I thought, well, we'll just have a kind of fun kind of day. Well, we're having it.
That's right.
So I want you to meet Amnon.
Hello, Adnan.
Hello.
So so this
Nice,
is
nice to meet you in person rather through email.
yeah, really. These are the two men. So how's it going with you?
Good. Just doing a lot of work and taking a break and listening to the show while I'm proofreading some blog posts and stuff like that. But yeah, thought I'd see what's happening.
Why don't you tell our audience who you are and what you do?
Well, my name is Hank Hoffmeyer, and I work in Raleigh and live in Saxpahaw, North Carolina, which is a small village in South Graham between Raleigh and Greensboro. I work for iContact, which is an email marketing and marketing automation company. We offer services for those types of marketing, and I am a strategic insights manager. And my joke for that is that I work for every department in the company. I do public speaking, blogging. I also do technical items such as integrations and API, and then do strategy when it comes to marketing. So Marilyn and I know each other and have breakfast every now and then, and I guess we try to keep each other motivated and help each other out the best we can. So enjoy listening to Marilyn often.
Thank you. Well, you're a sweetheart, and just telling everybody, to have a breakfast with Hank and I, you got to be ready to have breakfast at 7 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. or whatever a.m. there is early. That's what time we meet.
That's right.
So is there something particular on your mind? Do you have any ideas about stuff?
Well, something that friends and I were discussing last night, we got together with about 4 groups of friends that we have, and we all have kids, and we were talking about how this day and age, when you let your kids play, the parents are always watching them, making sure they don't get hurt, or if they go into the woods, they have to go with them to keep an eye on them because something might happen. Where, my wife and I, we really want to let them be free and let them do what they want to. To an extent, we want them to be safe, obviously, and some of our other friends are that way. But there's some folks that may not agree with that, and I don't know, how you feel about that. But I think you need to give children some space to play. And my daughter and my son, they're really great at making relationships. So we've taught them if somebody approaches you and you don't know them, we told them what to do, how to handle that, and try to stay out of harm's way and not get hurt when you're playing. And it'll happen. When I was a kid, I did not have a lot of supervision, and I would say I got hurt a little bit, but I learned lessons, and I think it allowed me to become a better person.
Yeah. It's interesting. My oldest daughter, who is now 35, when she graduated college, she graduated in communications, and one of her first job as an assistant producer or associate producer for news was in Charlotte, North Carolina. And her dad went with her, and they got an apartment, and her apartment was on the 3rd floor in the back. Not in the front of the building, in the back of the building on the 3rd floor. And her time to go to work, a lot of times, was the 12 to 7 or 12 to whatever, 12 a.m. And so in the beginning, I used to have her call me when she was leaving her apartment. And I would stay on the phone with her till she got to work. And then there were times when she would be leaving work at 11 p.m. at night, stop at the gas station like a normal person would do at 5 o'clock. And I, again, would stay on the phone with her while she did that until she would put the key in the door and get into her apartment. And I realized that I'm making her crazy, and I was making myself crazy. And also distracting her. And that if something, God forbid, was going to happen, it was going to happen when I wasn't on the phone with her. I couldn't be on the phone with her 24/7. So I had to let it go, and I had to just trust. So I think the same thing about your kids. If we don't help them learn, they'll never be able to live in this world. coping skills or otherwise. And so many times I see adults that just don't have coping skills, whether it's emotional, physical, location, can't do anything. So I think what you're doing is the right thing. I don't think you can keep them under lock and key. That's the long and the short of it.
No, I agree. And it was just something that I guess I've been thinking about throughout the day because of the conversation last night. But otherwise, it was great food and other great conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think how old are your children again?
6 and 9.
Yeah, I mean, and with things that are appropriate, obviously, but I think it's a gradual teaching, it's a gradual learning, it's a gradual letting go. But I think we have to. I mean, otherwise, we're going to live in a society that's going to perpetuate fear for the rest of our lives. And they won't be able
agree.
to do anything. Right? So
Absolutely.
that's a really good a really good conversation. So I appreciate that. If anybody else
Problem.
has any comments about that, please feel free to come into the chat and share. And we'd love to know what your opinion is or if you've had any experiences. What were you going to say?
Oh, nothing. I do have a meeting coming up at the top
Okay.
of the hour, and I know I got delayed with calling in, but I
Okay.
definitely wanted to, catch up with you, see what was
Good.
going on, and listen to hopefully a whole episode.
Well, good. I'm glad you're here, and I know you and I could connect. So thanks so much
Great.
for
Well, I
being
appreciate
here.
you having. Yeah,
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate
Maybe one day you'll have your own
Bye.
show.
it. Yes, one day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
That's a good question, actually. You know, I'm doing a book. It's interesting that he would bring that up. I'm writing a book about in just one afternoon, listening to the hearts of families that have lost children, and it's horrific in the ways that children have passed away, um, and some of them have been criminal cases. However, there was nothing anybody could have done differently. So, no matter what we do, we can't sometimes watch them enough. So, anyway, any other questions on there? Oh, what the thing that Chris said. Oh, let me go back to the thing about technology and it being an interruption. It can be. So I just think we have to be mindful of our balances in life. I hear all kinds of craziness about what people say about, we're not teaching our children how to relate. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. I think technology is fabulous. And I'm a connector. I'm a relationship hound. I love connecting. But I use it to better my connections. I use it to better my relationships. I use it to better my knowledge. So I think it's expanded my circle. I know more people around the world now. So I love it. I just think we have to be conscious of how we're using it. But that's conscious of everything. Conscious of how we eat, conscious of everything. Conscious of not driving too much or whatever, not sleeping too much. So I just think we have to pay attention, that's all, and use it in the right way. All right? Okay.
Yep.
Next slide, please, Clyde.
So this one we already went?
Yes, just did that.
I don't think they saw that, though.
Yeah, we did. We talked about stories. Friendship is
Okay.
born. Yeah,
All right.
we did that. Okay. All right, here we go. I do not desire that you shall esteem me greater as an artist, but better and more perfect as a man. Beethoven. Interesting, huh?
Do not
Just-
desire that you shall
Right?
esteem me
I do not desire that you shall esteem me greater as an artist, but better and more perfect as a man. Because that's whole. That's him. That's everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Artist in
That,
his is
that
just
encompasses
everything.
the artist.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next one. I will always choose a lazy person to do a difficult job because he will find an easy way to do it. There's some sense in that, right? A little caca, but there's a little sense in that too, right? All right, next one. This one I really liked. If today were the last day of your life, would you want to do what you are about to do today? Steve Jobs. Think about that from today forward, in the next moment, in how you're feeling, thinking, doing, whatever it is. If today were the last day of your life, would you want to do it that? Would you want to say that? Would you want to leave that with someone? Would you want to share that? I mean, if it was your last moment, what would you do? And I also really quickly want to let you know that I'm going to be doing, along with a very dear colleague of mine who've been on the show before, we're going to be doing a special program with Microsoft from all about publishing, from soup to nuts. So write me at MarilynShannon.com if you want to know more about it. And it's going to be a 4-month series. It's going to be free. You're going to learn all kinds of stuff. You can do it from your computer. It's going to be streaming. It's going to be great. We're going to have special guests and all kinds of people. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be up in one of their stores, and that's where we'll be streaming from. We're going to teach you everything, or she's going to teach you everything. I'm going to facilitate it, about the cover design, about the formatting, the fundamentals of publishing, plus marketing and everything else. So if you have a book and you want to learn more, if you want to have a book and you want to learn how to do it, just let me know. Marilyn at MarilynShannon.com. Write me, and I will be happy to let you know more about it. And remember, it's free, and it starts September 7th, I think, is the first Saturday. It'll be one Saturday a month for a couple of hours, and we'll let you know. So here's my book. And so, which is wonderful because men, as I've shared many times, I love giving a voice, and they have one. So write me at Marilyn, Marilyn, at Marilyn Shannon, SHANNON.com. If you are interested in the Microsoft, if you've got a good ebook, not ebook, excuse me, a good audio book that you want me to read, I would love to. I'd love to know anything about any audiobook you're reading. And maybe you don't even know it's in an audiobook, but you love it anyway, because I am really into audiobooks. Any other words, final messages on your end?
No, ma'am. Mwah.
Next week, we have a very interesting gentleman coming, and he is going to be broadcasting from a tree. And I know Amnon didn't like that initially.
No, what do you mean I didn't like it?
Did you worry a little?
I mean, if he's in a tree house, you mean?
No, I don't think he's in a tree house. I think he's in a tree.
He's just in a tree.
I think he's in a tree.
He should have good signal.
I guess so. I didn't think of that. Is that true? Does that work that way?
Yeah, it goes up, so it's...
well, that
just
should be...
kidding.
You're
kidding.
See, I believe...
We'll find out.
I'm so gullible. I believe anything. Oh, so he's going to be in a tree. And he's going to be talking about just how we break free. And he's going to be in a tree, so it should be kind of cool.
He's going to go.
Maybe. But anyway, I love you all. Thank you for sharing today with us, all the things that have gone on, all the things we've chatted about. Love having you. Look forward to having you again next week. Have a wonderful week. Make sure, ask yourself, is what I'm about to do what I want to do? Just ask yourself. Share your stories and come back. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.